I caught my husband cheating with our friend, and he told me he only sees me as a friend after everything we built, and now I'm trying to make sense of the pain, the betrayal, and the future I never expected to face alone. Posted by Ohwhoaeskimo.
I've suspected things had been going on for a while, but kept brushing it off. I thought he would never do that to me. Since around April, he's been refusing my attempts to have sex most of the time, sitting differently on the couch to where he's facing away from me, little things. It's with one of our good friends. She came to my house a few weeks ago, she's texted me, she's pretended to be there for me. I found out because I rolled over and they were having a Snapchat conversation. She said she wished she could be there to hold him, and he summarized that I tried to seduce him last night and mocked it. I confronted him and he admitted it. He said that it was because quarantine was stressful. He does not want to work things out. He thinks of me only as a friend in his heart. When I told her husband, he confronted her, and apparently they actually kissed back in February. I think at that moment, I was never going to be enough for him. We used to be so happy. The week before they kissed, we celebrated Valentine's Day together. He bought us a nice bottle of wine for our anniversary. We had fun. We were perfect. I don't know where to go from here. We've been married only about a year. I feel like he took so much from me and doesn't even want to go to therapy or work this out. I don't want to leave my house, but everywhere in it, I see him. He chose her. I've been cheated in every relationship I've ever been in. He was supposed to be my forever. I don't know what to do. I've made therapy appointments, but I was also laid off last month, so I have too much free time to analyze every single moment where he might have been lying to me or where I made myself pathetic trying to cling to him. How do I start to get through this? Downvoted commenter. This may be very unpopular, but please hear me out. If you've been cheated on by numerous men, maybe the issue truly lies with you. I would take this as an opportunity to do some serious self-reflection and growth. Why do you get emotionally involved with men who would consider cheating as an option? Why do you have a friend who would be willing to put herself between you and your husband? Why do you believe that all was well on Valentine's Day when it obviously wasn't? He did kiss her the next week, after all. Considering that, he is either an excellent liar or you are living in a fantasy and you were subconsciously ignoring the realities of your relationship with him. Before you rush for divorce, I would empathically suggest accepting his feelings for her, dealing with your grief, and then spending an enormous amount of time and energy looking at yourself. The truth is, if you don't address the reasons why you married a man who saw cheating as an option, why you've been with cheaters in the past, why you didn't see this coming, and why you are surrounding yourself with friends who would betray you like this, then you will most likely just repeat this cycle all over again, even if you and your husband get divorced. Maybe after you've done all of that, you might find you and him can have a shot at real love. Maybe not. Maybe you will realize you married a man with an irreparable character, and you find someone else. Either way, you will be better positioned for true happiness. Commenter 2. Lawyer first, get the divorce filed, and get their advice on if it's okay for you to leave the house while things are processing. As for the other, you need to fill your time. Devote yourself to hobbies, including picking up new ones. Rely on friends, long video calls, watching movies together. Fill as much of your time as you can until things start to process. I'm so sorry he gave up on you without even trying, hun. You deserve far better than that. It's a shame some people are so good at hiding how little respect they have for other folk, but please hold on to the fact that none of this was your fault. There is absolutely zero reason for a partner to cheat ever, and there is absolutely no justification that can put even a shred of the blame on you. OP response. Thank you. The worst thing is that he tried to turn it on me this morning that things had been off, but it only started being off when he started this affair and he began gaslighting me. Commenter 3. You can't go to therapy and work this out. It only gets worked out if both people want to put the effort in, and your husband has made it very clear he's not interested in trying to make the relationship work. He directly told you that. You need to find a lawyer and file for divorce. Finding out this news is going to be a swirl of emotions and conflicting urges, like a spinning top that's wobbling. But once you speak to a lawyer, start getting your divorce going, lean on friends, family, and potentially a personal therapist, you'll start to balance out again. Honestly, you are handling this really well for someone who just found out their husband has been sleeping with their friend. I think you'll be just fine given some time. OP response: thank you. I guess it's just hard to watch him blow up his own life so spectacularly. It's like I'm watching a cruel puppet of my husband. Already have a session booked with a therapist because, holy hell, I'm going to need it. I hope so. I've always approached things practically and just kept moving forward, but honestly, between this, being laid off recently, and family having health issues, I'm wondering how much I can really take.
Update 1. First of all, I just want to thank everyone here for the support I received following my first post back in August. At the time, it truly felt like my world was ending. It was important to me to make this update because I need to tell anyone who's currently going through the same thing, it gets better. You will get so much better. I had one conversation with my husband since everything happened, by his choice. It lasted maybe 5 minutes and was like talking to a robot. I know from others that he cries to people about how he ruined his life, but I have never once gotten an apology or the same show of regret. At this point, I don't care. I know him and the other woman are still seeing each other, and frankly, they deserve each other. Good for them. While I still feel angry occasionally, I no longer mourn what I once had. Instead, I'm so excited for the life I now get to live. I moved to a small, walkable city and gave myself my dream apartment. It makes me so happy to see how I've decorated it and to just live in a cozy place instead of our old dreary house. I was the breadwinner in our marriage, and he would make me feel awful about wanting to pay for nice meals or do fun things. Since moving here, I've done a ton of foodie fun stuff and don't feel guilty. It's so refreshing. I have dipped my toe into the dating pool again and had plenty of mediocre dates from dating apps. Recently, I found someone who I've really clicked with and am enjoying how appreciated and desired he's made me feel. It's definitely early and we're moving slow, but overall, dating has made me realize that I'm a catch who doesn't have to settle. Therapy has done wonders, and I'm so happy I immediately dove into it. My therapist is proud of me. I'm proud of me. I've stopped looking at being divorced as a failure. He failed, not me. I'm genuinely happy and excited to wake up each morning and no longer feel like this terrible weight is sitting on my chest. The holidays were surprisingly easy, and I found myself so happy to spend time with my family without having to compromise anything. So, all in all, life is good, and there's so much of it ahead. Looking back, I can't believe I wasted so much time thinking about how I could get him to come home. I've made my own home and my own happiness, and that is worth so much more. Commenter 1. I'm going through a breakup that has left me feeling lost and broken. This gives me so much hope for the future. Tomorrow morning, my journey begins as I go talk to a therapist for the first time and begin the road to recovery. Thank you for being so strong and sharing your story so others may find their strength through you. You're amazing. OP response. So many people told me things would get better, but honestly, I didn't believe it until I started feeling it myself. Just keep putting that faith in yourself, and remember, you're so much stronger than you think. You've already done the biggest step, signing up for therapy. Commenter 2. It made me sad reading in your last post that you were worried about overanalyzing the times you might have looked pathetic to him. For starters, he was pathetic for doing that to you, and it's not pathetic being lied to, manipulated, and gaslighted. So I'm glad after reading this post that you see it as his failure and not yours, because that's exactly it. You've done nothing wrong, and you're well rid of this guy. I'm happy you're doing so well. You sound awesome. Commenter 3. I'm so happy for you. Women have the capacity to really bounce back and come out in a better state. Your ex-husband will come back bigging, and I'm not kidding. He will come with his hat in his hand. Be prepared for it. OP response. People keep saying this, but honestly, I don't think he will. I think he's just wiped his hands clean, which, in a weird way, has made it easier for me to move on. I did make it hopefully hard to find him if he does decide otherwise, though.
Update 2, 5 years later. Wow, I can't believe this happened over 5 years ago now. In some ways, it feels like it happened to me in a different life. I still get messages asking about this and figured I could add some insight into how life can look a few years down the line after everything gets completely and utterly wrecked. Good news, if you put in the work, it looks pretty fucking great. First of all, where is my ex-husband now? I haven't had contact with him since September of 2020 and largely don't keep track of things, but I can see that this man still follows me on Instagram and watches all of my stories. I considered blocking him, but just let it be. I think it's the petty part of me who's living a full life that's fine with rubbing it in a bit. He and the affair partner did get married after a whoopsie kid, and I'm pretty sure they had another. But they also both lost their jobs as teachers. He got her a job at his school, so she was working with an entire staff that knew they had an affair, and had to move to the middle of nowhere.
Last I heard of them, the affair partner had been texting his former best friend unhinged rants about not including them in get-togethers or allowing my ex-husband to be a groomsman in his wedding. But enough about them, because they already took up way too many pages in my story. When we last left off, I think I had just moved to a new city, shout out to Richmond, VA, and was largely just finding myself again. I think the change of scenery was the best thing that I did for myself. I was never meant to live in the suburbs, and moving to a beautiful little city where I can walk to coffee shops, bakeries, and bookstores honestly helped my mental health as much as the therapy. I bought a house here a couple years ago and have really settled in. Then I got my puppy, a corgi named Bilbo Baggins, who really is the true love of my life. He is the greatest thing to happen to me and is just such a fantastic chonky guy. We go to a local dog park with a bar all the time, and he even has his own little dog social group. Kids aren't something I plan on, so he is basically my son. It hasn't all been perfect. My dad died, my best friend moved across the country, and I largely haven't really been dating much the past couple of years. Dating hasn't been a huge priority for me, and my friends say that I'm probably too picky. I say that I know what it's like to be in a marriage with someone who might love you but doesn't like you, and it's worth not settling. But while I may be single, I am fulfilled and busy. My birthday is Saturday, and I'll be spending it in Paris at a Lady Gaga concert. I saw Sabrina Carpenter in Amsterdam, Taylor Swift in Lyon, Springsteen in Edinburgh, Noah Can at Fenway Park. Earlier this year, I was able to visit Katmai National Park and see the brown bears in the falls. I have a D&D group and a really amazing village of people I love. I would not be in this headspace if I didn't go to therapy and work out the why of me settling for this man in the first place. True story. When planning our honeymoon in New Zealand, I, of course, had to plan the entire thing despite him picking the location. He refused to do any driving, so we had to do a guided tour that left on specific dates. He pretended to not be able to get a day off of work when we needed to leave until I started crying and begging him to just ask his boss for it because literally no other flights worked. That's when he said he actually always had the day off, but wanted to make sure I was actually working hard enough to choose good flights. Anyway, I chose to marry that, and it was a lot to unpack in therapy. But I'm glad I did, because without it, I don't think I'd built this life for myself. At the end of the day, what happened set me up to live a happier life than what I was living, so in some ways, I'm thankful for the experience, shitty as it was. If you're in the middle of something terrible, unfair, and world-shattering to you, just know that it's not forever. While this experience has made me a bit of a believer in karma, I also know that there was a lot of work to get myself out of that big black mental hole. Sometimes it seemed that I would slide back in it, but by looking forward and figuring myself out, I eventually clawed my way out. I think you can too, and that you're worth fighting for. Commenter 1. I feel like following this story and you having this be your current chapter is the best thing I've heard this year. I'm so happy for you. Never settle, know your worth, and give the sir some scritches. Also, Richmond is a beautiful city. I grew up as a teenager there. Commenter 2. Just read your other posts. JF, what a tool he was. If you don't mind, what did you figure out was the reason you put up with him? What did your therapist say? OP response. A lot of it was I equated success with going through the steps of life. Getting married was just the next step, and I didn't think I could find something else, so I settled. Therapy also helped me realize the reason I kept wanting to put off having kids later and later. It's because I actually didn't want them. It's just what I thought I should do. The things he did became so normal that I just kind of started to accept them. I took on all the emotional labor. I drove 2 hours a day for my job as the breadwinner because he didn't want to commute or leave the town he grew up in. I made sure we saw his family for things when I found out that he would use me as an excuse to get out of stuff. Looking back, it's so obvious, but when you're in that situation, you kind of lose yourself in it. Commenter 3. Thank you for sharing your journey. It was beautiful to read, and I'm so happy for you. After experiencing something similar, I also got a dog, and he truly is my whole heart and soul. He has done wonders for my mental health, and I don't know how I was living prior to him. Cheers to you and Bilbo. I wish you both the best.